Hmm. I mean, they're happier with the result, aren't they? Why wouldn't they be? They drew their first game, they drew their second game. That's 2 points in the bag in 2 games. Not the best, but they're happier with that than us. We lost our first game, 1 point in the bag. What are we even playing next? What are we playing next? Is it Burnley? I think we're playing Burnley next. Except for the AFL Cup, Grimsby, or whatever. No, we're playing Burnley next. And then after that, Man City. But that's after the international break. Mm. I post game thoughts. Post game thoughts. I'll give you my post game thoughts. These guys are thoughts, bro. United, God. Oh. Post game thoughts. Let's get real. Let's get real. Post game thoughts. Post game thoughts. Post game thoughts. Let me gather my thoughts first. Let me gather my thoughts because I feel like right now I'm angry. Let me gather my thoughts. Give it a think. Give it a think here and there. Okay. My United is full post game. How do I? My United is full 1-1. These Fulham guys have us on lock, you know. Fulham have us on lock. Fulham have us on lock. They've become the new Wolves. Remember when Wolves had us on lock? Fulham have us on lock, man. But post game thoughts, okay, cool. Obviously, we started the game well, right? Like we started the game very well. Cunha had like 3 chances, and we couldn't score from there. Bruno had the penalty, couldn't score. Obviously, scored from the corner. Then we considered the flimsy goal, which just seems to be the theme this season, conceding flimsy goals, whether it's a mistake from the defense or the keeper, yet to be analyzed because that was, from my angle, that was looking like Bayende could have come out to claim that ball a bit faster, maybe make it harder for this guy to actually have like all that goal because I feel like with Bayende not coming out at all, like the guy just had the whole goal at his mercy kind of thing. Like there was no pressure on him. Yes, defending was wiggity. Delis maybe could have done better instead of just like leaving it. I know what he probably left it thinking that Bayinde was going to get it right. Like he probably left it thinking that Bayinde can get the ball. That's probably what he was thinking. That's what he looked like. Because like I don't think he would just have left it if he didn't think that Bayinde was going to get that ball. So I feel like Bayinde, as much as maybe he wasn't in a position to get it, maybe he was in a better position to come out of his box and claim it. Let me even see that playing it again now. Yeah, just like make it a bit harder for Smith Rowe. And then I feel like if you had come out, you could have like just got your hand to it or something. Like when you're inside your box like that, when you're inside your line like that, like you're just giving the guy do anything you want with the ball kind of thing. I think that's what happened. But yeah, United we need to start bearing our chances. There's anything now. We need to start bearing our chances. We had 10 shots in this game, 3 on target, 1 goal. That's what they're saying on the screen. Fulham had 14. They ended up having more possession than us, which is not the craziest thing ever. 248, 4 shots on target for Fulham. We need to bury our chances, man. Like I'm not even blaming anybody for not like taking that chance. Maybe except for Bruno for missing the penalty, but that happens here and there. But we need to bury our chances. Like I feel like we're starting these games so well. We're kind of playing well in these games to an extent so well, and then we're not burying our chances. Sesko when he came on looked good. Like obviously, like he's still adapting. Probably why he's not starting yet. Still adapting. He's not going to like be an instant threat to the other team or anything like that. So you know, I can't expect too much from Sesko yet. Like I can't say, okay, Sesko is going to come on and like he's just going to immediately get us a goal or something. He will get us a goal at some point. He'll score a goal that will give him more confidence. But I don't mind him like just using this time to adapt and kind of depending on other players to get us those goals. Your Mbeumo's, your Cunha's, and they look hungry to get goals. So I'm not even going to like fault Mbeumo and Cunha. Like they actually look look at Cunha in this game. So many chances. None of them were really clear cuts. So there's really none of them that you can look at and be like, oh my god, Cunha has to have scored. And maybe except for the one that Bayende played to him. That's like the best one. That's the one that you can look at and be like, maybe he should have scored, but him not scoring is not the craziest because it was a good chance. I'm looking at it right now. That was a good attempt. So him not scoring that was not crazy. So I think that if we can just bury one of these chances, we can just become better. I think that our keeping situation needs to be sorted. As much as like maybe Bayern didn't really do too much wrong in this game. There's always that friction. There's always that like it's not really like I said, that goal, I'm still thinking that Bayende could have come out, maybe not full on come out, maybe not fully commit himself, but I think that he could have come out a bit more and then made it a bit harder for whoever was getting that ball. Because like the Ligt maybe could not see Smith, so maybe that's why he left the ball, right? Maybe Bayende didn't expect the Ligt to leave the ball. But at the same time, you seeing that the Ligt has left the ball, you can see that someone is coming out, that someone is coming to come and kind of like claim that cross. Maybe you can come out and make the rebound difficult. I'm looking at the Bruno miss now, penalty. And yeah, he wasn't confident from Bruno, honestly. And I'm thinking that I'm looking at his face right now. That doesn't look very confident. That doesn't look like a confident stutter. And again, I'll say it again, like in those situations when you're not feeling confident for the betterment of the team, I know that like your pride is at stake. I know that you're basically your right as the penalty taker for the team. You're the captain of the team. I know that there's a lot at stake, so you cannot really just be like, yeah, I'm not feeling this, take the penalty. But at the same time, in those situations, do you give away the pen to somebody else? Do you give away the pen to somebody who was designated? Because like you're not just giving the pen to anybody, right? Like you're giving it to the designated penalty taker for another team that joined your team now. So you're giving somebody else that can bury pens, had a good penalty record at Brentford. So I feel like he could have given the pen to Mbeumo if he wasn't feeling confident. But at the same time, I get why he didn't give it. But I'm just wondering, like, why is it so wrong to give away a pen when you're not feeling it? Like, that's the whole point of having multiple pen takers in your team. I'm looking at this goal again and again, the goal that we consider now. I'm just thinking, like, who's for? Like, De Ligt was. I don't think that De Ligt did much wrong. I think if anything, you're looking at Luke Shaw and looking at Bayern there. Because De Ligt kind of putting Raul Jimenez off is his job, right? De Ligt putting Raul Jimenez off is his job. Make sure that striker does not bury that. That's his job. So I feel like when he did that, that's I'm not looking at De Ligt for that. Obviously, like that's what caused the ball to like get into the box. But at the same time, like I can't look at him and be like, you did something wrong. I think I'm looking at that goal and I'm thinking that Bayinde could have done better to come out. I'm thinking that Luke Shaw could have done better to track his man. Maybe Luke Shaw maybe was expecting De Ligt to leave the ball, but at the same time, Jimenez was in front of him, so his best that he could do was put him off, prove Jimenez off. So I'm just thinking that maybe Luke Shaw could have done better to track his man, and maybe Bayinde could have come, because it looked as if they both kind of like reacted at Bayinde to kind of like, come out or something. Like it looked as if they had the reaction towards Bayinde, and I'm thinking, yeah, maybe Bayinde could have done better, honestly. Maybe he could have done better. But all these errors, this is what cost us in games. The Arsenal game, we could have drawn that game as much as like we had the chance to even win the game. We could have drawn that game, won this game, if not for these errors, if not for these little nitpicky errors. We could have drawn this game, so we could have won this game and drawn the Arsenal game. That's 4 points in the bag. But these errors is what's going to cost us now. And at the end of the season, when we're looking at our position on the table, when we're seeing that we're ninth, God forbid, when we're seeing that we're ninth instead of fifth, you're going to be looking at these mistakes and thinking, like, could we have done better? Like, could we have done better to defend some of these leads or get the 0-0 draw instead of losing, instead of drawing? You get what I mean? I feel like you have to look at these points as very valuable. And it's against Fulham, who, again, we should be beating. As much as like they're a good team, very good team, we should have beaten. It was a Craven Cottage, so not too much on that, but I feel like there was more at stake for us in this game and we should have beaten them. Obviously, we looked hungry. Like, I'm not going to question United's hunger to win. I think that there's the hunger there, which is something maybe we didn't have last season. We have the hunger to win now. So I'm not really going to assess that and be like, oh, we're just not hungry enough. We're just not showing it. We don't have the players, because we have the players. We have the Cunhas, we have the Umbremos, we have the Brunos, we have the Amads, who we're going to talk about. But we have players that can score, so it's not about the quality, it's not about the hunger. I just think that we're not burying our chances yet. Maybe that will come with time. But like, time is not of the essence at the moment, because Like time is not something we have at our disposal because every team is on that shit right now. Like Chelsea were wicked in their first game against Crystal Palace and they made up for it against West Ham. You can argue that maybe our opponents have been harder than the Chelseas, right? Like, Chelsea played Crystal Palace and West Ham who are struggling right now. They played Arsenal and Fulham, who, decent, very good teams. So maybe you can look at it like that. But at the same time, like, if you had drawn the Arsenal game, drawn this game, as much as like that's not the greatest, like maybe that would have been better than losing the Arsenal game and drawing this game. But the fact that we lost the Arsenal game and drew this game, the fact that both of them were due to errors, I would say, in my opinion, both of them were due to errors. The Arsenal game was definitely an error from Bayende. This one, I'll kind of put it on Bayende as well, but also say Luke Shaw could have tracked his man better. I don't think that the league did anything wrong, but I think that, yeah, we could have done better to defend our lead in this game, honestly. Like Fulham grew into the game. We allow teams to kind of like grow into games. That's the problem. We allow teams to grow into games, and that's a problem. Can't allow teams to keep on going into games. Can't do that because like going to games, concede goals. Going to games, you lose games. You allow the other team to go into games, you lose the game. You concede a goal. Your lead is not as certain anymore, or whatever you're trying to hold on to is not as certain anymore. So yeah, trying to like do better to like kind of like we're controlling games better than last. Honestly, like in general, like when we're talking about like compared to last season, I feel like comparing to last season as well, like really what was the standard last season? Because last season we're 15th, right? So no standard, right? So I feel like saying compared to last season, as much as like we're a lot better than last season, which is what you want to see, at the end of the day, like could we really have been worse than last season? It's possible, but like was really never going to happen. We're always going to be better than last season. So I can't always say like last season, but at the same time, I can say that like we're better than last season, so I can't complain that aspect. But at the same time, like the standards were not that high. So yeah, I think that you just need to be able to do better. But again, we showed hunger, and yeah, honestly, some situations need to sort out. And midfield needs to be sorted out. This whole bringing on Ugarte thing, I'm not hearing it, man. Like bringing on Ugarte and bringing on Dalu as well. And I'm just thinking like, are these guys really going to help us like maintain leads or maintain whatever we're holding on to? Ugarte in the Arsenal game looked wiggity. This game he looked less wiggity, but it's not really bringing much, right? And I'm just thinking like we need to sort out that midfield. Like we need at least one person just to be like, we know that Ugarte is not the immediate guy that you're looking to. Maybe like when that person is adapting or something, maybe his Casemiro is playing, you bring on that guy instead of Ugarte, and maybe that guy can partner a player like Manu better. But yeah, like two main things happen in this game, which is obviously Ahmad getting subbed off in the 52nd minute. And I'm looking at that and I was just thinking, like, I've seen people talk about the whole Ahmad and Mbemo thing and whether it will work, whether Ahmad playing right wing back will work. And I'm thinking, like, when you look at a game like this, you're thinking, does it work? But at the same time, I think that it's something that can work. I've looked at it, I've seen signs that it can work. I think that with right wing back here, with Ahmad playing right wing back, there's always going to be a part of his game that is taken away because like now he's more focused, like he has to be focused on the defensive aspect of his game. He's more judged on defensive aspect of his game, right? So like you're not just looking at the attacking part of the game. So like if he makes a mistake from deep, concede a goal, or maybe he's just not tracking his man, concede a goal, like you're always going to judge that. Like I feel like that can even take away from whatever attacking thing that he does in that game, right? So I think that there's always that thing, like there's always something going to be taken away from Ahmad with him playing right wing back. And people did have that complaint. I've seen a lot of people that had that complaint about Ahmad playing right wing back. And honestly, like I don't think that was the original plan. Like this whole Mbemo thing. I don't think Mbemo, I think the original plan was Ahmad right calm and then Quenda who was signed for Chelsea, right wing back. I'm not complaining because I wanted Mbemo in Man United. I'm not complaining at all. I'm just saying that like the Ahmad thing, like does it work? I think it's something that can work. I think that yes, there's always going to be something taken away from Ahmad's game at the end of the day. Like whoever does play that right wing back that is a natural winger, there'll always be something taken away from his game. He will be more judged on the defensive aspect of his game. But we've seen signs that, it still works, right? Like Ahmad can still look good threatening from right wing back. I just think that some of these games where like maybe more focused on defensive aspect of his game, maybe it's hard for him to kind of like balance it out. I saw it in preseason as well. saw it in preseason where like he was kind of focused on the defensive aspect of his game and that took away from the attacking aspect. So it's something that can happen. That caused this game right now. That cost him this game. Wasn't really the greatest in this game. Cost about in 52nd minute. So you're looking at it and you're thinking, right, am I going to be like a rotational, like more of like a rotational player, which everybody kind of is at the end of the day. But like, is this right wing back playing going to affect Ahmad? Because like we don't know, we better players last season, and now he might not even be a starter and everything. You can't be sentimental about players, but at the same time, you have to look at the situation that they're in and just think like, is it his fault? Kind of thing. He's going to need time to adapt to this role. He's going to need time to fully embrace it, and we're going to have to give him that time. We're going to have to give him that time to also develop that relationship with Mbemo. That both left footers playing on the same side, that can kind of like be a bit techy and it can take time to kind of like grow onto. So I feel like it's something we need to give time as well. I feel like everything that we need in this team is not necessarily going to click right now. Like there's some things that we have to wait for, unfortunately. And I don't mind waiting, but at the same time, like it can't cost us games. Like we can't continue losing games and we can't finish ninth this season and give an excuse. You get what I mean? So yeah, I think that as much as like everything needs time, we do need to start winning games. We need to start bearing chances. And the other thing I'll talk about is Mino, which like I was very verbal about during the game. I think that at some point, if you don't find the place for Mino in this team, you're going to end up leaving, man. I think that if you don't find a place for Mino in this team, you're going to end up leaving because this is someone who has, like I said, has proven to be able to get into the England squad, proven to have that quality to not only get into the England squad, but to start for England. And you're looking at that and you're thinking, I'm not saying that like, oh, that means that he needs to be starting or anything. I'm just saying that like he knows that he has that quality to get to the England squad. Being on the bench as he is right now, he's not going to get to the England squad. He's a new manager, so he's not like there's no. I don't know you, bro. Like maybe Southgate knew him, so maybe even if he's not playing, he knows his quality, like he did for Grealish. Knew his quality, so he'll still bring him to the team. Knows what he can offer the team. Southgate don't Tuku don't know that. Tuku don't know that. Tuku don't give a damn about that. So until you see something on the pitch, he's not good to. Until you see something for his team, for Man United, for his club, he's not going to call him for England. I think that Man is going to look at that situation and just be like, rah, like she's not working. Like I'm not getting called up for England anymore, meaning that this shit is not working out clearly. Like it's not a matter of like there's a lot of players better than me in that position. It's a matter of I'm not playing for my team. So the manager for England has no reason to call me. Tuchel has no reason to call me up. I'm thinking like, I know I have the quality, but it's just not showing here. I'm an unused sub. So I need to find something else. I need to find something else for myself. And I think that he might not realize it now, but I don't think he has renewed his contract, number one. And if this keeps on happening, I don't see why he would renew his contract. I'm not sure if he has renewed his contract, but if this keeps on happening, I don't see why he would renew the contract. And I think that he would end up just going somewhere else that would actually appreciate his talents. At the end of the day, we know that he doesn't necessarily fit into the system, right? Like we know that none of our midfielders really do. Bruno really doesn't. Casemiro doesn't really. Ugarte doesn't really. Manu doesn't really. So we have 4 players actively in that midfield who don't necessarily fit the system, right? But I'm thinking like I'm looking at 4 players who don't fit the system, and I'm looking at 3 that play. You get what I mean, right? I'm looking at 4 players who don't fit the system, but 3 are playing and 1 is not playing. So I'm thinking, wow, like if we already have players that don't fit the system, I try to make it work with them. I want to make it work with this extra player. I want to make it work with Mino as well. I'm not saying that you should be sentimental, play Mino and lose games because of it. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that like if you can fit Bruno, which obviously you have to fit Bruno, if you can fit Casemiro, if you can fit Ugarte, I think you can try and fit Mino. Even a player like Mount, who yes fits the system, there's a reason why he's playing, right? You're looking at it and you're like, as much as he does fit the system, we're a bit clustered in all those positions that he fits, like the cams, for example, Cunha, Mbeumo, Ahmad, Zexi, Sesko, Bruno potentially. I am thinking, wow, where is Mount going to play if he plays? So now that Mount is fitting, you can now see what I mean by like, I feel like you can also try and fit Mino in that equation. I'm not saying he has to start every game. I'm not saying he has to play all the time, but I'm saying that like you can do better to fit him in. I think so. I think you can do better to fit him in. I think you can do better to just. I'm not. And this isn't just to make him happy. We have a quality player on our team. You have a player that can bring something from midfield in that team, more composure on the ball. He's good at getting into the box and all of that. So I think that you can't just get rid of that. Like you can't just not use that, right? Like we already don't have quality there. It's like what is it really going to cost us? Like it's not as if like the players I'm looking at right now are bossing that midfield. Like it's not. I'm not looking at any like. Do you get what I mean? Like I'm not looking at anything right now. Like it's not as if anybody that's there right now is doing anything serious to be like, oh, how do we bench him? You get what I mean? So I'm just looking at that. I'm thinking, like, if you can make all those exceptions for these three guys that don't fit the system, I can make an exception from Rhino as well. Sentiment part of it, yes. Sentiments, yes. But at the end of the day, he does need to play. And if he doesn't play, he's going to leave. That's what I think. If mine doesn't play at the end of this season, maybe at the end of next season, he just goes to look at his situation. It's a World Cup here. This is a period of assessment, a period of self-reflection for a lot of these players, right? Because they're going to be looking at it as a World Cup here. They don't get called up for that team. If man doesn't get called up for England, which at this rate he wouldn't, he's going to look at it and just be like, rah, it's not working out, rah. It's not working out. It's not working out. I'm going to have to leave. So yeah, need to sort that out soon. But it doesn't like for sure win the midfielder. Win the midfielder definitely. Even if it's one, I know that even if it, like we need two, by the end of the day, like can only get one. So we need a midfielder. But linked to multiple people. I don't know who are going to get. I'll try and make an episode about that. But we need a midfielder. And we need this Lemens thing, a good rotational keeper to have. Hopefully he'll prove to be at least be better than Bayindir so that he can play over Bayindir. I hope that that's the case. That even if he does have flaws, which he will have coming into a new league, kind of still going into his own and everything, he will have flaws. I think that, you know, I hope that he's better than Bayindir so that like at least we have a better option than Bayindir. Again, Bayindir didn't do too much wrong in this game, so I'm not really going to slander him too much, but I do think that for that goal, he could have done better to at least come out, put Smito under more pressure. And even if Smito has scored at the end of it, you know that he tried, right? You know that he tried. But this one, it looked as if it was more off than on. And Smito had the whole goal, like he had no pressure on him whatsoever. But yeah, Cunha looked good at the beginning. He didn't really look good at the end. Fulham going to the game, like I said. But yeah, okay, decent game. I mean, we play Fulham, you expect the game to be difficult. So that's why I'm not complaining too much. But at the end of the day, like we could have won this game. Like I saw us concede a goal that we could have done without conceding. I saw us make chances that we could have made it maybe at least 2-0. And, you know, it was 1-0, tighter game. And we ended up dropping points. So yeah, we just need to do better in the future. We're playing Burnley next. That has to be a win. Has to be a win. If it's not a win, then I don't know what to say. Everybody's using Burnley as a win. It has to be a win. I mean, they won a game against Sunderland, but it has to be a win. Has to be a win. Have to win that game. Have to win that game. But yeah, if you guys joined the stream, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys again next time. Safe.